Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5 Minutes PM podcast. Today, I like to conclude the series of Megaprojects. So this is the third podcast I'm recording about this, and I want today to cover the communications and the team. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I discussed a lot about how challenging are the megaprojects. Last week, I discussed about the FAL process, the front-ended loading, how people think and plan about these projects. Right now, we need just to understand that most of these projects are in very remote places, very hard to get people to work in, and very hard to make communications work. We have a huge dispersion most of the time, very heterogeneous functions that must work in parallel. So it's pretty much a science of planning with the art of reacting, because you cannot control everything. So, and we need to understand the key role that people have in this kind of projects. Of course, all the time you say people are the central piece, people are the central piece. But in this kind of process, if you don't have the best ones, you will be in trouble. Why? Because needed practice are harder to complete. It's not just go out, do some exams and study a little bit and you'll be ready to run a nuclear power plant that will be built in a very far away place. So it's nothing like that. You need to have people with practice to do that. Projects are remote and far from home. You will not find a very complex, huge project in abundance in places like London or like New York. Most of these projects, they are already done. So we need now to think about places where you don't have cities close. So it's very hard. So people are far more expensive. And it's very hard to get people with experience. So, and all the communication challenges. So it's more people to track. It's more functions to integrate, more concurrent activities, geographic separation, more difficult to generate a unified vision. Imagine these people think in a unified way. High degree of interdependence. So usually understaffed. I need more people, but I could not find them. Cultural difference. So it's very, very important that I form the core team as early as possible to allow the project director to be appointed and to create this core team. And it's very tough because each point at which large number of members are added, it's an opportunity to fail. So if you have a lot of people, the communication channels will be dramatic. And also you need to understand all the changes in the teams. Imagine 10 years, how many people will arrive and leave. So how hard is to do that? And this core team, this owner team, it cannot be outsourced. I cannot hire a company to be my core team. You need to take care as a client of your project because this is the heart of the overall project team. So it's very, very important that larger owner teams deliver better results. And it's very, very important. And I need to make sure that all key functions are represented. I cannot choose, okay, I have people with this background, but not with that. And all this owner team needs to participate actively in the FAL process. It's not something, okay, we need to do the FAL, so let's hire someone to do that and just deliver the results for us. This doesn't work because the team must have decision-making authority. You need to have full-time people. We are talking about a huge amount of money and a huge amount of effort. So you need to understand that this integration reduces operability problems. So maybe you build the airport, but then you face a huge challenge when we start to operate the airport. So you need to understand that all these early warning signals are extremely valuable when you are developing the project. So also all the sponsorship, they never belongs to the contractor. You need to understand as a client that you are the owner of the project. You recognize the problems early and you can intervene when problems develop. So it's very important that you need to understand this, that we have more mega projects than the past. And we are having a huge challenge to have new people, high turnover. So it's really, really a big challenge that we are facing right now. Everywhere we are facing huge mega projects. So we need to understand that this leadership must be developed. And it's not something that we can do in 1 year to another. So it's a very, very critical that I keep the team. And it's not only money that makes people happy. It's not pay them more. Most of these people, they are very well paid, but they want the challenge. They want to understand. They want to create and to develop something interesting, something that excites them. It's not just money. Of course, money, if you pay them badly, then you are in a big problem, a big trouble. But if you pay them reasonably well, means you are not in trouble, but you are not in your comfort zone. It's a big challenge. So to understand all this leadership continuity, to make sure that you have some memory around these projects. So long mega projects, they contribute to more turnover. So you need to understand all these aspects. So my intent of recording these 3 podcasts is that between 15 to 20 minutes is just to give you an extremely quick and superficial understanding of what is this mega projects? Because when we open the magazine and we read and we say, oh, these are just incompetent people. This is not necessarily 100% true statement. Of course, we have problems related to competence, but we have a big, big problem right now because the project by itself, like I said in the first podcast, it's a giant and extremely fragile. So you need to have great people to do that. And this is the challenge. This is the biggest challenge, is to have the right and qualified people to do the project. This is the most scarce resource we have right now. It's to find talented people to do the work. It's not money. Money, we have plenty of money to do everything. The problem is that we don't have people with trust and people able to transform this money into benefit to the society, to the organizations. This is the big challenge that we are facing right now. It's to find these people. So I hope that you, with these 3 podcasts, can have a better understanding of what is a mega project, and see you next week with another topic in another 5 Minute PM podcast.